Hey guys, it's Numastaka and I'm back with you today to take another closer look at a couple of new sovereigns that have arrived and to just talk about sovereigns and why I've bought these particular coins. All sovereigns look pretty much the same, but of course they're not created equal. There are some sovereigns that are worth absolute bullion. There are some sovereigns that are worth $1 million. Well, one or two anyway. So I just wanted to talk about the rationale behind buying sovereigns and the particular ones that I've bought recently. Those sovereigns have been what's known as shield-back sovereigns. So shieldbacks have a young Victorian portrait on one side and a shield on the other side. And they do attract a small premium, even in worn state, over sovereigns with the St. George on the back. Quite often, in a particular year, both St. George sovereigns and shield sovereigns were both minted, and usually the shield sovereigns have a much lower mintage, and so they can be worth watching out for. You will have to pay a premium, but they can be much greater value as collector coins if you're buying sovereigns that are more than just basic bullion. So this particular one is the second 1859 sovereign that I've managed to find. It is a sovereign that is marked in Michael Marsh's book as rare, and it does tend to be rare because you see very few of these come up, and they do have a premium when they do. The first one I bought at an auction, D&W auction, and this one came from an eBay auction. So sometimes these can be picked up for a reasonable price. Sometimes they can be pretty expensive. It depends. I think a lot of people don't focus too much on particular dates. So if you are collecting, it is worth investigating the dates and seeing which ones are worth a premium. And occasionally you get a bargain, although not all the time. This particular one does have a little bit of wear. You can see on the hair, it's a little bit worn down. It's probably something like an AU50 or an AU53 or something like that. Be interesting to see what it gets. Might get lower than that, I don't know. Looking at the page in Marsh's book, the Ansel, there were two sovereigns for 59. One is the Ansel one, which is very rare, and this one had 1.5 million coins produced, and it's marked as rare in the Michael Marsh book. But it's quite nice to find a couple of these. And I am focusing on shieldback sovereigns mostly, and also focusing on particular dates, although not really to build a date run, because I think that would A, cost too much money, and B, take too much time. But in this case, just picking up the odd coin for the collection here and there. So the second one that I want to show you is another one that arrived this week, which was an eBay pickup. And it comes from a series of sovereigns that is actually really hard to find any of. Although some dates, the 1884 is quite easy to pick up. There were more that date, but most of them, 1884 is the easiest, 1885, and you might realise that I'm talking about Melbourne shieldback sovereigns. So Sydney ones, there's quite a lot of. Melbourne shieldbacks are pretty thin on the ground, and there is a range of dates that I think goes between 1880 and 1887 that contains some real rarities. Some of those are beyond any kind of pocket money pricing. For example, the 1886 and the 1887 are many thousands of dollars. And there are also some of those other dates, 1880, 1881, 1883, they're also well over the $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 sometimes. There are a couple of ones in this range, like this 1882, that it is possible to occasionally pick up. The funny thing about this is that I believe this to be just as rare as the 1883 or the 1881, which is a much higher premium coins. Both of them are very high premium. I've been looking for 1882s for a while. I've only ever seen 2 or 3 come up. The NGC and PCGS populations are very small. I think this one has slipped through the valuer's net. And I don't think Michael Marsh seemed to get it right all the time. He was judging rarity from how many he'd seen. Maybe he saw slightly more of these than some of the others when he was originally compiling his rarity guide for sovereigns. But, although it is a Bible, don't necessarily take it as a Bible, but be practical as well. Because as you can see here, it's marked as scarce, and actually, you would be hard pushed to find more than 2 or 3 of these coins that come up in any one year available for sale. The 1882 is every bit as rare, I think, as the 1881, which is marked as rare and consequently has a higher value. So I consider this to be a bargain. It's a beautiful coin, as you can see. There's lots of luster on both sides of it, and it does have some wear, but actually I think it's a really, really nice coin. Little copper spot there at the top next to the A, but this should grade very, very well. I might have that copper spot removed when I send it for grading, and it'll be interesting to see exactly what it gets. So let me know what you guys think. What are you looking for in your sovereigns when you're picking yours out?